Good morning to all of you. Myself Ravi Sekhar Kinja, Assistant Professor in Department of Mechanical Engineering MITS Jordan. Today I am delivering the lecture on engineering material and its mechanical property, which is related to basic mechanical engineering for our BTU second semester student. The selection and use of engineering material or suitable material is very important for the success of any industry. The use of heavy machines and structure and construction is possible by the use of engineering material in the form of steel and ferrous material and non-ferrous material and polymer and ceramics and different other material. The development in the field of nuclear engineering and space technology owed a great deal to the use of semiconductor and materials. These have played the most important role in the development in the field of computer, telecommunication and electronics engineering. So first question is arise that what are the engineering material? The substance which are useful in the field of technology or engineering are called engineering material. A particular material is selected is on the basis of need and according to application and property of material. So that I am discussing about the property of material. There are different type of properties. First is mechanical. In mechanical there are lot of property. First is strength, second is ductility, third is toughness, fourth is hardness, fifth is strength, sixth is brittleness, seventh is malleability, eighth is creep and nine is fatigue. And next is physical property. Physical properties are density, specific heat, thermal expansion, thermal conductivity and melting point. And third is chemical property, oxidation, corrosion, flammability, toxicity. And next is manufacturing property, in which we studied forming, casting, machining and welding. Second is cost of material. Cost of material is also affected the choice of material. Third is availability of material and reliability of supply. Fourth is servicing life of material or dimensional stability of material in the form of wear, corrosion, etc. And appearance of material. In this we consider color and surface texture. So it is an important topic, that classification of engineering material. Then engineering material basically are of two types. First is metal and second is non-metal. And metal are of two types, ferrous metal and non-ferrous metal. So ferrous metal are in which iron is an essential constituent of ferrous metallic material. These are most widely used engineering material. These are the most versatile as regards the mechanical property. Various types of cast iron and steel and wrought iron and alloy steel under this category. And simply say that the ferrous metal are those which have the iron as their main constituent, and the non-ferrous metal are those which have a metal other than iron as an main constituent, such as copper, aluminium, brass, tin, zinc, gold, etc. And simply say that non-ferrous metal are which do not contain iron, although in general these possess lower strength values than ferrous metal. These find application in special circumstances such as for corrosion resistance, high ductility and malleability, high thermal and electrical conductivity. Aluminium, copper are best example of non-ferrous. And next is non-metal. Non-metal are the material which have highly varied properties and applications. These may be solid, very hard like abrasive, to very soft like rubber, and may be transparent or timber, plastics, refractories, paints, cement, stone, lubricant, etc. are various non-metallic material. So I am discussing about carbon steel. Carbon steel is basically a alloy which is composed by iron plus carbon, and iron plus carbon is called steel. Steel are variously classified according to the method of manufacture. These may be called acid open hard steel, And steel are classified in the form of plain carbon steel or unalloyed steel and alloy steel. Plain carbon steel are the steel in which the percentage of carbon is comparatively more and that of the other element is comparatively so small that the properties of steel are determined by its carbon content and microstructure are called plain carbon steel. And plain carbon steel are of three types: low carbon steel, medium carbon steel and high carbon steel. In low carbon steel, the carbon percentage is 0.05 to 0.30 and it is also known as mild steel. And medium carbon steel containing 0.3 to 0.6% carbon, and in high carbon steel containing 0.60 to 1.30% carbon. And plain carbon steel containing more than 1.30% carbon when produced are used for making tool steel, as we used the single point cutting tool in lathe machine for operation or cutting work or machining, so that the tools are made by high carbon steel. And next is alloy steel. Alloy steel, the limitation of plain carbon steel are eliminated by adding certain alloying elements to them. Alloy steel are those steel in which the properties of the steel are determined by the alloying element in the steel other than carbon. These elements are present in sufficient amount in steel to affect the physical, mechanical or electrical property. Next is wrought iron. Wrought iron is basically a purest iron which contain 99.5% iron but may contain up to 99.9% iron. The carbon content is about 0.02%. It is lower than mild steel. It is a tough, malleable and ductile material. It cannot stand sudden and excessive shock. It can be easily forged or welded. Next is pig iron. Pig iron is the crude form of iron and is used as a raw material for the production of various other ferrous metals such as cast iron and wrought iron and steel. The pig iron is obtained by smelting iron ores in a blast furnace. Next is cast iron. The cast iron is obtained by remelting pig iron with coke and limestone in a furnace known as cupola. The carbon contents in cast iron varies from 1.7 to 4.5%, and the compressive strength of cast iron is very excellent. So the bed of any machine or the heavy structure of any machine is constructed by cast iron. And the effect of impurities on cast iron as follows: silicon. It may be present in cast iron up to 4%. It provides the formation of free graphite which makes the iron soft and easily machinable. These all are the alloying element which are improve some property in cast iron. And when we mix the sulfur which makes the cast iron hard and brittle, it must be kept well below 0.1% for most foundry purpose. And manganese makes the cast iron white and hard. It is often kept below 0.75%. And phosphorus, it adds fusibility and fluidity in cast iron. It is required for casting process and but induces brittleness. The important types of cast iron: first, grey cast iron, white cast iron, chilled cast iron, mottled cast iron, malleable cast iron, nodular or spheroidal graphite cast iron, and alloy cast iron. Next, I am discussing here aluminium. Aluminium is basically a lightweight material and white metal with specific gravity of 2.7 and density is 2700 kg per meter cube and melting point is 653 degrees Celsius, which is a good conductor of heat and electricity and has good resistance to corrosion. The pure metal is soft and weak, but when alloyed with copper, magnesium, silicon and other metal, it becomes harder. And aluminium alloy, it is a large number of alloy of aluminum are available for various applications. And next is copper, which is also an important metal and quite specific for its properties and applications. So the copper alloy are: first, brass. Brass is a alloy of copper and zinc, and bronze are alloy of copper and tin. Next is gold and silver. So the gold is an extremely soft yellow metal with specific gravity 19.3. It can be beaten to a foil of thickness as little as 0.08 micron. Pure gold is used for lining or electro deposits. Pure gold being weak, it is alloyed with copper or nickel for greater strength and hardness. It is also widely used in jewelry. Next is silver. Silver is basically a white metal with specific gravity 10.5. It has the highest thermal and electrical conductivity and is very highly malleable. It is used in jewelry as container for several alkalis like caustic soda and potash, and in electronic industry. Next is lead. Lead is a soft, heavy and easy melting metal. Lead occurs mostly in its sulfide form in the ore called galena. It is extracted from its ore by the process of concentration followed by melting in a blast furnace and purification in a reverberatory furnace. Lead is a bluish grey in color and heaviest among the solid metal, which specific gravity is 11.34, and it is very soft, ductile and malleable material. Next is tin. Tin is a very familiar as a coating material for steel sheet container or tin can. Is the occurrence is the most important ore of tin is cassiterate containing SnO2. Tin ore is calcined, cleaned and smelted in a furnace. It is obtained by dry methods of refining in its reverberatory furnace. It is further refined by electrolysis if required. So next we discussing that non-metals. In non-metal, first is polymer and second is ceramics. So polymer is also known as plastics, and plastics or monomer or polymer are the chain of monomer or repeated types of chain of monomer. The plastics are synthetic material which are molded into shape under pressure with or without the application of heat. These can also be cast, rolled, extruded, laminated and machined. Following are two types of plastic. First is thermosetting plastic and second is thermoplastic. So the thermoplastic material do not become hard with the application of heat and pressure, and no chemical change occur. They remain soft at elevated temperature until they are hardened by cooling. These can be remelted repeatedly by successive application of heat. The example of thermoplastics are: first, polythene; second, polypropylene; third, polyvinyl chloride; four, polystyrene; fifth, polyester; sixth, cellulosics; polyamides in polyamide nylons; aromatic polyamides; and last is aromatic thermoplastic, polycarbonate and polyamides. And the thermosetting plastics are those which are formed into shape under heat and pressure and result in a permanently hard product. The heat first softens the material, but as additional heat and pressure is applied, it becomes hard by a chemical change known as phenol formaldehyde, which is also known as bakelite. And the example of thermosetting plastics are aminos, polyester, epoxy resins and phenolics. So the next is ceramics. In ceramics, first is abrasive. Abrasive are a hard material used for cutting or abrasing, which are used in grinding operation, honing and lapping operations, metals or non-metals. These abrasive are both natural and synthetic or artificial. They also vary in their hardness and toughness. Generally, the harder the abrasive, more brittle or less tough it. Following are the various abrasive used in industries: hard abrasive, soft abrasive and synthetic abrasive. Next is refractory. Refractory material are non-metallic element or material to withstand high temperature involved in furnace and ovens to resist the action of slag and other furnace material. Refractories should also be able to withstand thermal shocks and abrasive action of furnace charges. These must not fuse or soften below 1600 degree Celsius. The following are of refractories. First is acid refractory, neutral refractory and basic refractory. Next is glass. Glass is an amorphous solid that has been cooled to a rigid condition without crystallizing. Glass is manufactured by blending a mix of sand, limestone, soda ash, and some additive like coloring agent and melting in a furnace, followed by some shaping process. Next, I am discussing the effect of alloying element on steel. Alloying element is first cobalt. Cobalt, when mixed in iron or steel, then it improve the property in the form of increased hardness, toughness, tensile strength, and residual magnetism. And when we mix the chromium, then it increases strength, hardness, hardenability, and corrosion resistance. And when we mix the manganese, then it increases hardness and abrasion resistance in combination with carbon. And if we added nickel, then it increases strength and toughness of steel without decreasing any ductility. When mixed molybdenum, then it increased hardenability and creep strength, red hardness, and wear resistance. And if we mixed silicon, then it increase hardenability and maintain it on moderate heating. Increase also resistivity. Sulfur, when present in moderate amount below 0.05%, it improves machinability. And when we mix phosphorus, then it increase strength and hardenability. Tungsten, it increase hardenability and red hardness. Vanadium, greater increase hardness, hardenability, and strength of the steel. Next. So here I am discussing about mechanical property of engineering material. First is strength. Strength is the ability of material to resist the externally applied force without any failure, breaking, or yielding. So here three types of strength. First is tensile, second is compressive, third is shear. The tensile strength or tenacity is defined as the ability of material to resist in stretching or stretching tensile load without any fracture. Compressive strength, the ability of a material to resist compressive load without fracture is called compressive strength. The better example that cast iron have excellent compressive strength, so the bed of any machine are constructed by cast iron. Shear strength, the ability of a material to resist transverse load, that is load tending to separate the metal, is called shear strength. Next is stiffness, which is the ability of material to resist deformation under stress. The modulus of elasticity is the measure of stiffness. Within the elastic limit, stiffness is measured by the modulus of elasticity. Next is elasticity. Elasticity is a property in which when the load is exerted on material, then it goes in deformation, and when they remove the load, then it comes into original shape. It means it is a temporary deformation, is called elasticity. And the example of elasticity is mild steel, rubber, spring materials. Second is plasticity, which is the opposition or oppose of elasticity. It is also known as permanent deformation. When force is applied on a body, then body gone in deformation, and if we remove the load, then body not comes in original shape. It means permanent deformation. Then this type of property is called plasticity. All the polymers, all the plastic materials are better example of plasticity. And ductility, it is the ability of material on which we apply tensile force or tensile load, then it goes in wire, it convert into wire without any failure. It means it convert into length without any fracture. So this type of property is called ductility. And better example of ductility is aluminum, copper, silver, and gold. Next is malleability. When the metal is ductile, then it is also malleable. It is ability of material on which we apply hammering, then it deforms plastically in the form of sheet or rolled. So that this type of property is called malleability. So the better example of malleability is gold, silver, copper, and aluminum. Next is toughness. Toughness is defined as ability of material to absorb energy up to fracture during the plastic deformation. Toughness of metal offers the resistance to breaking when force is applied. The better example of toughness is high speed steel, high carbon steel. Next is brittleness. It is property of material opposite to ductility. It is the property of breaking of material with little permanent distortion, so that this type of property is called brittleness. The better example of brittle metal is cast iron, glass, stones and concrete, stone, bricks, these all are brittle material, because on which applied the load, then it breaks into small particle. Hardness is defined as ability of material to resist scratching or indentation by another hard body. Hardness is directly related to strength, and when the material is brittle, then it is hard, or hard metal is also brittle. So the example of hardness is cast iron, glass and concrete. Next is creep, the slope and progressive deformation of a material with time at constant stress is called creep. Creep simply form that when a part is subjected to a constant stress at high temperature for a longer period of time, it will undergo a slow and permanent deformation called creep. This property is considered in designing internal combustion engine, boiler and turbine. Next is fatigue. When a material is subjected to repeated stress, it means tensile to compressive or compressive to tensile, it fail at stress below the yield point stress. Such type of failure of material is known as fatigue. The failure is caused by means of progressive crack in formation, which are usually fine and microscopic. This property is considered in designing shaft, connecting rod, spring, gear, where repeated types of stress are occurring.